This is going to be my review for, actually not review, just my thoughts on Fast X. All right, so let me see. First of all, I got duped into paying way too much for the movie than I should have. I went in there originally only wanting to spend $20. I was mentally prepared to spend $20, but then I got talked into spending, let's say, $70. Dinner and a movie type of deal. Keep that in mind. So, let me see. I've watched every Fast and the Furious movie from the first one all the way to this one. I remember going to the movies when I was in high school, going to see the first one. And yeah, man, it was cars, hot chicks, drinking, bromance, everything that, in that time frame. And John Cena's character said it in a movie in the 90s, 2000s, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, yo, that was life back then. You know what I'm saying? Anybody who was anybody, you had a 5.0. You know what I'm saying? You have to throw the engine. You have the custom aftermarket, package, whether it was body kit or fucking wheels. You paid more for your wheels than you did your actual car. You know what I'm saying? Like that was what it was back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So, So everyone instantly gravitated toward the Fast franchise, or at least Fast and the Furious movies. That's how Vin Diesel blew up. He went from, because first he was in Fade to Black, no, Black Dark, the first Riddick movie. You know what I'm saying? And it was like meh. People liked it, but people was like meh. And then he did Fast. He did the Fast and the Furious, and everybody's like, okay, who is this dude? Like, everybody was like, that's when he blew up. And then he did Triple X, and people loved him for Triple X. I didn't know Vin Diesel was biracial, or actually, yeah, I don't know. I didn't know he was biracial. I thought he was a white boy when I first saw him, because his complexion. But I think he did an interview, or it came out that he was like either mulatto or which is mixed, or what do you call it, albino. And he actually has a twin brother. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think it says he has a twin brother, and his twin brother is like brown. So, you know, and so a lot of people are complaining about his kid in the movie as being brown, and maybe he's just low key, like, what I'm saying, just either, I don't know, just low key, just saying, hey, motherfucker, I'm black, like, joke's on you, you know what I'm saying? But, what I'm saying, he's just low key getting back to his roots, like, hey, his brother's, he's black, he's a black man, at least half black, you know what I'm saying? And from the way he talks, from the way he, his gestures and all this other stuff. And you gotta remember, like, back in, like, 90s to 2000s, being black was not a good thing. It was hard for people to be in entertainment if you were anything other than like, white. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was really racial back then. And it's still to a degree racial now, but I mean, it's more accepting. And, people complain about being woke. Yeah, I don't need your fucking politics in my movie, but reality is reality. And if you can tell your truth, or you can insert your truth or tell your truth without affecting the story, like it's genuinely a part of the story, and it's not like you're beating me over the head trying to make me feel some kind of way about it, okay, cool. But but if your whole point, like, you're taken away from the plot because you're trying to get a message out, like, hey, we got to stop this nuclear threat, but by the way, this nuclear threat is because of people who don't accept my gayness, or some like ludicrous like thing like that. I mean, it's doing a bit too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have a story to tell your story. Interject, like, you should start, go back to grade school, how they used to tell us to write our papers. You start with your plot, and then around the plot, you fill in the blanks. You got to connect A to B and B to C and C to D, and it needs to be a straight line all the way through with no drop off. You need to keep your audience engaged, and that's honestly, and a lot of the problem is the audience, because people are now trained in in 10-15 second clips on TikTok, or what is it, TikTok? And people don't want to sit in a movie theater. At least younger people don't want to can't sit still for like anything more than maybe 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if it's really the older people that's gonna sit there for 2 hours and some change. I mean, a 2-hour and 30-minute movie back in the day, the double DVD, the double VHS, like, that's a big deal. Now, between Marvel, Marvel's doing it. I'm assuming DC's gonna do it. Now everybody's doing it. Average runtime is gonna be 2 hours and 30 minutes. Because again, the runtime takes away from the plot. I mean, again, you got a story to tell your story. Make sure it's told correctly. Don't be taking stuff out. I think they learned with the Snyder Cut, all these taking stuff out to make it fit within. Hey, this has to be a 2-hour movie or whatever. I was like, you don't have to be. Where does it say it has to be a 2-hour movie? It can let the movie breathe. Let the story be told. You know what I'm saying? Tell your story. So, but so that being said, I don't have a problem with the movie. I didn't like the movie like as much as I thought I was gonna like it, but I didn't hate it, and I didn't love it, and I didn't hate it. It's like it was like a fast movie. It was like seeing your friends and your family that you hadn't seen in a while. You know what I'm saying? Like going to a family, basically like going to a family reunion. And honestly, the Fast franchise, that's pretty much what it is. It's a family reunion. It's like, man, I ain't seen these characters in 5-10 years. Well, yeah, was it 5-10? Like 5 years and some change, and then they pop up, take me for a ride. I mean, that's all it is. I mean, did the plot make sense? The plot made sense. Well, some of the plot made sense, but all these plots is basically they're telling the same movie over and over and over again. It's a revenge story. It's like Don Toretto pissed somebody off from back in the day. Now this person's back for revenge, with some minor twists and turns along the way. He runs into people from his past that you didn't know about until it's convenient for the plot. It's a lot of throaty engines. There's maybe some girls running around, and that's it. That's it. That's the whole movie. That's the whole movie in 2 seconds. Back in the day, it was a lot more cleavage. It was a lot more, sensualized. But I guess, because of Me Too and today's politics, they can't really, they can't focus on it. They can't do it, especially if it doesn't make sense in the plot. There's no, what do you call it? Sex scenes. There's nothing but fighting, really. It's just violence. Back in the day, it was like either Brian will hook up with a chick or Dom will hook up with a chick. Well, hook up with Letty or whatever, and it'll go into an action sequence. Dudes will fight over the girl or whatever, and then they race for her affections or whatever. I mean, now it's like, oh, we gotta save the world. We gotta clear our names. We gotta pay our taxes. It's adult stuff. I mean, the Fast franchise has evolved so to speak. So I mean, some people hate it. They went from street racers to what do you call it? FBI, CIA informants, or they're basically CIs. I guess if you want to think about it, they're CIs. They're still criminals. They're just, they work with law enforcement as opposed to against law enforcement. And honestly, they could have did way more with that dynamic. They could have did way more with that dynamic than what they've been doing. So, Jason Momoa is this villain of the week type of deal. Let me see. I mean, I can dig it, to quote him. Yeah, it was like he was funny. He was charismatic. He was like Joker if Joker was on the Bane Venom. Actually, he was more Jack Sparrow than Joker. People say he's like Joker. No, he's more Jack Sparrow than a Joker. He was like maybe mixed, like equally. Mad Hatters, freaking. Yeah, I mean, he was having fun. He was having fun, and then he was, that just being able to go from goofy and funny to just threatening and menacing. I think seeing him and Jonathan Majors in the movie playing off of each other, that would be a treat. That would be a good movie because Jonathan Majors has that same energy. Jonathan Majors can go, has that range. You know what I'm saying? Jason Momoa's range is just goofy. He's just a big goofball. And just remembering that he was actually Khal Drogo and they didn't give him that many lines in Game of Thrones. Just, yeah. And then to see him now, it's like, this is Khal Drogo. Like, what? No wonder they didn't let him talk. And I always wonder what Daenerys saw in him. It's like, oh, he's off camera. He's a big goofball. He's just goofy, But yeah. So yeah, I mean, see, everybody like in my age range that reviewed the movie, they all basically said the same thing. It's a fast movie. You're not gonna get, you're not gonna come out of the movie theater with enlightenment. You're gonna be entertained. I mean, it entertained me for two. It didn't feel like 2.5 hours. I've been in movies that just, if you can feel the time, like from start to finish, it's like, is it over with yet? But this one, from action sequence to action sequence, a little exposition, to the next action sequence, and then all the way up into the cliffhanger, which honestly, it was low-key racist. The movie would end it like low-key racist. Like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. All the brown people have been in peril this entire fucking movie. You sidelined all your brown characters. All the brown characters were sidelined. I knew they were in trouble. Like, you kind of get the sense they were in trouble because of who they put in charge. Like, wait a minute. You're trusting him to lead a mission? Like, oh no, oh hell no. This is gonna end badly. And then the whole movie is just like, yeah. Yup. Yeah, I saw that coming. Yup. And then they're gathering the A team. As they gather the A team. Oh man, it's so funny. Anyway, so there's been rumors that this movie is gonna be a trilogy. I don't think it's gonna be a trilogy. I think it's gonna be a finale. Fast and Furious, the final whatever, and then it's gonna be Hobbs and Shaw 2, with The Rock and Nathan Statham. So I think that's the direction they're gonna go, and maybe they'll try to connect Hobbs and Shaw to the Fast franchise, like bring everybody back for the final movie, or a passing of the torch movie, because by then his son, or the character, at least the character that's playing his son, little B, he should be of age to start like street racing, and they can just start it over. Him in high school, him in middle school, just being a street racer. Just a straight street racer. Nothing to do with the CIA. Nothing to do with the government. Just ground level. Just bringing it back to his roots. They could go that route and just keep it going with him, and then Vin Diesel, until Vin Diesel dies, can always just do cameos as his father. I can see that happening, but them trying to push a Don Toretto movie past Fast X, whenever Fast X actually does end, I don't see it happening. And I guess if they're gonna go that route, they need to finish Riddick. They need to finish Triple X. So who knows? But it's really not much to say. I mean, I'm not a critic, so I didn't major in movies and cinema, so I can't tell you about lighting, camera work, and none of that stuff. I mean, special effects seemed on point. I liked it. Then again, for the amount of money I paid, it's like I got the Super Dolby surround sound. I got the crisp 4 8K, what I'm saying? So I saw everything in detail. Most of the movies explosions. Yeah, they got the fire down. They got the fire down. It looks like fire. It looks like things are burning, But as far as everything else, the plot and everything, it's like, $20. If I would have went to Alamo Steakhouse back in the States, back in Texas, and got my beer, got my Guinness, got my steak, got my potato, and I'm sitting there watching the movie, I'd have been a happy camper. It'd have been an evening. You know what I'm saying? It'd have been an experience. But because I got duped into paying an extra $30-something, I'm kind of let down. I'm not mad at the movie. I'm mad at the theater. It's like, this is too much. This is too much for this. Nah. Maybe for Avatar. Maybe if I would felt something, some tears or something. Maybe if I would have did this for Guardians. But other than that, $10-$20, yeah, it's worth it. It's worth going to the movies to see it. As a matter of fact, it's not, unless you got a nice setup at your home. Going to this movie's made to be seen at the theater, unless you have a theater set up at your house. Don't disrespect this. I'm gonna say disrespect this movie. You're not gonna enjoy this movie on your phone. Just honestly, I'm gonna start categorizing movies. There's certain movies that you can't even enjoy unless it's a big screen. Movies, maybe that's the reason I've only been watching movies 1 or 2 times, when I'm bored. Whereas back in the day, I could watch movies over and over and over again, because I don't have the big screen anymore. I need a big screen. That's why I need a big screen TV. I need a big 70-inch, 65, 70-inch TV to enjoy these films. The Fast franchise, you need that big screen to enjoy everything. Star Wars, Marvel, stuff like that. Things with explosions and spectacle. Yeah, you need that big screen to see all the details, to see that random extra being thrown from the screen, But this movie was even in 3D. I'm trying to think what could they have possibly done in 3D, I was like, nah, I don't need 3D. 3D doesn't make any sense to me. Anywho, that's all I got. It's not much I can say. I wasn't blown away by this movie, and I wasn't disappointed. I knew what I was getting into when I set out, and I paid my monies. All right. I just wish my mojito had actual alcohol in it, and maybe this would have been oh my God, that's my ass out good. But no, that's what we got. That's where we at.